Our class of today is on didactics of geography, and we'll be handling, as we know, chapter 3, which is talking about types, that's teaching methods, techniques, procedures, and lesson preparation. But our main focus is on lesson preparation, how to teach and prepare a lesson, given the competence-based approach in primary school. So, as we go through the lesson, we realize that the lesson of today, we have organized, or we have partitioned the lesson into 3 main parts, where the first part is through highlight on the methodology, that's teaching methods. We go on to the techniques on how to teach a lesson in geography, in a given domain in geography. And then, when we finish with the teaching methods, techniques, we advance into lesson preparation proper, where we'll be realizing how to prepare a lesson. And our case study or our sample lesson will be on the types of settlement. So that's what we'll be preparing our lesson of today, types of settlement. So, at the end of the lesson, you will have a problem situation which we will have to handle at home, because at the end of the lesson, we handle the problem situation together, and that will be the end of the class of today. After which we must have gone through this interaction. So stay active and stay attentive and participative before we start the class. Thank you. Today we are going to handle, as what you see, today we are going to handle didactics of geography. Chapter 3, methods, techniques, procedures, and lesson preparation. Before we go ahead, we have to know that this work is partitioned into 3 main parts, which we are going to handle methodology of teaching geography, and we go to lesson preparation itself, and at the end we are going to simulate a problem situation. So listen carefully as we advance. But now, what you see on the board, we begin with appropriate methodology of teaching geography. In order for the teacher to make his or her lesson to be interesting and effective, he needs to use more than a single method of teaching. It is often said that it is noticed that the environment is full of things and objects about which children want to know everything. They have many questions to which they want answers. We have a series of methods which are used in teaching geography, and such methods are observation method, we have discussion method, we have a project method, regional method of teaching geography, and we have the problem solving method. But we will begin with by giving highlights, just highlights on the methods, various methods, which are, as you see on the board, we have observation method. Psychologists came to notice that the fact that children possess instinct of curiosity and are curious to see the things for themselves, and particularly those things which exist around them. The geographers exploit this fact to their own advantage. A thing observed and a fact discovered by the child for himself by his own efforts become a part of mental life of the child. Then, how do learners observe? Learners can possibly observe through charts and globes, through field trips and excursions, and other outdoor activities. We are now at the project method. When talking about the project method, we are talking about learning, emphasizing learning through the realization of projects. Given the competence-based approach, we need to engage learners in realizing projects within the classroom. In the primary school, it must not certainly be complicated projects, but just simple projects. And how do we go about deriving a project? To derive a project, the teacher works together with the learners and they bring out the project, and the teacher acts as a guide to make sure that this project is realized, and it can be within two weeks, even 1 week, and realize a project within your class. So it all depends on the teacher at time. Now we'll go to the laboratory method. This method requires the use of a lab with geographic tools such as maps, globes, atlases, and etc. etc. Given a situation where the resources in the school are not available, this method can be structured in such a way that geographic materials or tools are being used or are being prepared and kept in the same classroom in which the teacher teaches. Such tools can be globes, as we have talked about, maps, atlases, charts, and many other things that can facilitate the teaching of geography. We are now on regional method of geography. The regional method of teaching geography is a method in which the area of study is divided into natural regions. This method emphasizes that the teaching of geography should be partitioned according to natural regions. For example, we have temperate regions, we have the polar regions, we have the tropics, etc., etc., in order to facilitate the understanding of geographic knowledge. Now on discussion method, we realize that it's a method that learners come to class with a rich background and a lot of experiences, and this experience can only be tapped from effective questioning. So this questioning forms a set of question and answer sessions, and the teacher, in exploiting this discussion method, must be effective in his questioning techniques. Now, we are at another phase of the presentation of the lesson where we have techniques of teaching geography. Here it should be noted that techniques are embedded in the different methods of teaching. How is it embedded? Because it is difficult to at times separate techniques and methods of teaching, and the method of teaching determines the technique in which you have to handle your lesson. Some of the common techniques employed in teaching geography are The use of globes, excursions, field trips, demonstration and drawings, use of video projectors, use of atlas for maps, and others. Now we are at the great phase of our presentation today, of our lesson today, which is lesson preparation. Lesson preparation. We are going to look at how a lesson can be prepared in a given domain in geography. And our topic, we will take a lesson from the topic settlements, and our lesson title will be types of settlement. In bracket we have differences between urban and rural settlements. Now, before we advance, we have to know that a lesson, given the current competence-based approach, the current teaching approach, emphasis is laid on the CBE. That's the competence-based approach of teaching. And in the primary school today, with the new dispensation, we have, as concerns the preamble of the lesson, we have the following elements: integrated learning theme, envisaged project, competence to be developed, topic, lesson title, expected learning outcome, previous knowledge, resources, and references at the preamble. Now, let's first of all finish with the preamble of the lesson before going to the body of the lesson. I would love us to be going at once so that we evolve quickly. Now, given a lesson title, types of settlement, we have, in the case of primary school, we want to prepare a lesson in geography titled types of settlement. And in this case, we have our integrated learning theme. We'll just take, for example, that we're in a particular month, and in that month, the integrated learning theme is the town. And then our envisaged project, we'll see that at this level, we propose visiting a major street, competence to be developed. We propose, or we select from our new curriculum for the primary school, we select the intellectual competence. We go to the topic. The topic will be settlement. Lesson title, as we have earlier said, is these types of settlement. And expected learning outcome goes thus. By the end of the lesson, people should be able to differentiate between urban and rural settlement correctly within 5 minutes. Previous knowledge. Pupils can list some characteristics of rural settlement. Because at this level, you assume that pupils have some experiences and must have maybe seen, grown up in a village, some might have seen pictures of the village, and so certainly knows can list some of the characteristics of a rural settlement. We go to resources, which at times we refer to as teaching aids or didactic materials. We have chart. What we are going to use here is chart bearing different settlements or picture bearing images of urban and rural settlements. And then certainly we have the reference, which is any other book that you use. Then you put the title. Now we come to the body of the lesson proper. And we know That the body of the lesson proper is divided into, we have stages, we have sub-stages, we have IPOs, which is intermediary pedagogic objective, we have the main matter, we have facilitators, activities, learners, activities, and mode of organization. This is just an example because there are many other columns in which we can consider, but because of management, time management, and other resources, we limit to these stages. Introduction. We begin with stages. Stages in the English system of education, we have three main stages of drawing of a lesson plan, which are introduction, presentation, and conclusion. And these three stages are further broken down into 6 other stages, which we have at the level of introduction. We have warm-up, we have revision, and we have at the level of presentation, we have discovery. On the level of discovery, we are presenting a problem. We do presentation of problem on didactic material. And then we have research. From research, we have confrontation and validation. From confrontation and validation, we go to another big stage, which is conclusion. And at the level of conclusion, we have generalization, and then we evaluate. We have evaluation. Now let's come back to our lesson proper. Our lesson proper, as we have heard the various stages of preparation of the lesson, we will come back to the level of introduction, where we have warm-up. Given our lesson title, at the level of warm-up, the teacher, the IPO here is to keep learners alert. The teacher has to keep the learners alert. And the main matter here is song, facilitators, activities. Teacher asks people to sing song. Learners, activities. Learners or people sing. And mode of organization is collectively. Learners sing the song collectively. We go to revision. At the level of revision, we have, at the level of revision, the IPO here is to revise previous knowledge. And main matter is sparsely populated, engaged mostly in agriculture. These are characteristics and differences of the town, which is our lesson of today. This is basically types of settlement. Types of settlement. So that's what we will put here at the level of main matter. Now, at facilitation activity here, the teacher asks questions linked to the previous knowledge. The teacher asks, list 4 characteristics of royal areas. List 4 characteristics of royal areas. And then the learners give responses. And then mode of organization is individually. We go to presentation, which is another big stage. And then in this presentation, we have discovery, as we earlier said. At the level of discovery, the IPO here is to present problem on didactic material. And then the main matter here is images of urban and royal settlement. Images of urban and royal settlement. And at the level of facilitators activity, we have present didactic material. Teacher present didactic material on the chalkboard, on any other teaching aid. And then ask people to observe silently while preparing to answer questions. This is what the teacher do at this level. When you are teaching in primary school, you have this situation, you have to present your didactic material, and then you ask learners to observe keenly, silently, while giving them what to observe exactly on the didactic material you have presented. Then the learners' activity, what would the learners be doing? At this level, the learners are observing. They observe silently. And then this observation is individually or collective. It can be. Now, these are the images of just a sample of what type of teaching aids you can probably use. If you are using a projector, if you are using a different, maybe an image in any format, or even in printed form, you can present something like this to facilitate the understanding of your lesson. This is an image of a town, of an urban area. And you present the learners to observe keenly what are they, then you go on asking questions, what have you seen, and so on and so forth. You see, this is also an image of a town, also an urban area, yes, which will follow the same thing. Yeah, and now we have an image of a village, what we call a royal area, a royal setting. And that you observe keenly. The learners would, this is a sample of what you can do. Or maybe you can draw if you're good at drawing. They will look and give the characteristics, or maybe they will give the characteristics from them. You will know, you will derive the various types of settlements. Now, at the level of research, we have IPO here is to emit hypothesis. To emit hypothesis. The learners have observed, they have now formulated hypotheses, they are now being asked to emit them through questioning. And now, main matter here is differences between urban and rural area, because these types of rural and urban areas will be detected through their differences. So that's what you have at this level. And at the level of teachers' activity, we have, you ask questions, and such questions can be, what have you seen? The learners will answer, certainly. What does picture 1 or image 1 and 2 represent? They will go ahead to say urban and royal settlement. Then you go on, the teacher goes on to ask another question at the level of research. What are the characteristics of picture 1? Probably picture 1 could be, let's assume picture 1 is a royal settlement. They will now say, learners will give you, these are proposed answers, scattered buildings with local material, poor road network, inadequate social amenities, and so on. There are many other characteristics that denote a royal area. They will give you as much as you keep on asking. And then the teacher goes on to ask another question. What are the characteristics of picture 2? Let's assume is talking about the urban area. Then they will give you an urban area, it is nucleated. They will talk about nucleated buildings. They will say good social amenities. They can give you good road network. They can give you many more. Good hospitals, good schools. Those are the characteristics of urban settlement. And now, you further ask them, what are the differences between picture 1 and picture 2? Because all these questions are trying to exploit the lesson title. Now, they will go on to tell you that an urban area is nucleated while rural settlement is sparse. More settlement, social amenities in the urban areas than in the rural areas. better road network in the urban area than in the rural settlement. So they can give as much as possible, but it depends on the time that you have. Now we go to the level of confrontation. What would the teacher be doing, or what would be the teacher's activity, or what? Let me go back to IP. Here the IPO is to confront correct and wrong answers. To confront correct and wrong answers. That's the IPO at this level. And the main matter is validated answers. That's answers that are already corrected. That's the main matter we have here. And then the facilitator's activity here is to correct and validate responses. And student teachers always ask this question: is it the duty of the teacher alone or the learners, or it is a joint effort? I always say it is a joint effort, because the teacher is not teaching alone. The teacher is teaching in interaction, or in exchange and interaction with the learners. So the learners' activity will be to take to corrections. They take to corrections and equally contribute to corrections. Maybe. Okay. Now we go to the conclusion stage. At the level of conclusion, remember we have generalization and evaluation. So at the level of conclusion, we'll be handling generalization and evaluation. At the level, let's take generalization. With this lesson, you will realize the IPO here is to build new knowledge. At the level of generalization, we are building new knowledge, or we have already interacted. We are now trying to build new knowledge with the learners. That's some kind of a summary. And the main matter here is we have the body of the lesson itself, where we have types of settlement. We go down to differences between urban and rural settlement. But you should not be confused when you hear types of settlement, then you hear differences between urban and rural settlement. And as opposed to our lesson objectives that we stated at the end, that learners at the end should be able to differentiate between urban and rural areas. But you see the lesson title is types of settlement, but you see it is put in bracket differences between urban and rural settlement, which is our main focus for the lesson. Now at this level of generalization, you see your body of the lesson comes out clear, what you are supposed to teach, types of settlement, differences between urban and rural settlement. That's what you put at the level of main matter. Now the teacher's activity, what will be your activities if you are the one teaching this lesson? If you are handling this lesson, your activity is to ask questions. Teacher asks questions. And such questions could be, you ask questions to make chalkboard summaries, Then such questions could be, what is the lesson title of today? Then when you ask this type of question, the learners now will give you, people participate in building up chalkboard summaries, and they take some notes. And let me go back again to another type of example of question in which you can ask, where you now ask, what are the types of settlement? They will give you, there are two major types of settlement, which are urban and rural settlement. You go on to ask them the differences between rural and urban settlement. What are the differences between rural and urban settlement? They give you, at this level, the learners are summarizing, you are building up your lesson for that day, for that particular period, and that will be it for your generalization. And then we go to evaluation. where you have to evaluate your lesson. At the level of evaluation, which is the concluding part of your lesson as we will be handling, you have here you have IPO, which is to verify new knowledge. You are verifying new knowledge. What you have already done at the level of generalization, you are verifying whether what is done at the level of generalization as stated in the objective or the expected learning outcomes above at the level of the preamble has been attained at this level. Now you are verifying or testing whether objectives have been attained. And then the main matter here will be answer students' responses, and then which probably are the differences between rural and urban settlement and the types of rural settlement. And we go on to teachers' activities. What will be your activities as a teacher at this level? As a teacher at this level, what you will be doing is equally to ask questions, because at every level we are asking questions in order to make the learners better understand the lesson and participate actively. Now, you can ask such a question as, what are the 5 differences between, or list 5 differences between an urban settlement and rural settlement? What are the 5 differences between an urban settlement and rural settlement? What the learner's activity here or people's activity here is to respond. They will give you answers of which probably you will detect if the lesson has been understood or not. But probably if you must have reacted and interacted well with your learners at this level, you will realize that above 80% or more of the objectives must have been attained. Now, we have just seen how to prepare and possibly present a lesson at the level of the primary school given the context of the CBE. That's competence-based approach. Now, at this level, the work is not yet done, finished. Our work is not yet finished for the class of today, but we'll go on to the last part, which we will be talking about. We'll simulate a problem situation that can we'll reflect together and see if our objectives really has been attained, because at the level we cannot end by evaluating shallowly. We have to simulate a problem situation which is similar to what goes on in CAPM, the CAPM examination. CAPM examination questions are mostly coming in the form of problem situation. So I will give you an example of such a problem situation which we are going to answer together at home, and we'll get back and we'll submit it through an email which will be communicated to you probably at the end of the lesson. Now we have problem situation. An example of a problem situation in which it is being simulated for our lesson today. We have listen keenly and get the problem situation. Upon graduation from Teachers Training College, you are posted to teach at CS Newtown, Bafman. A colleague who is a PTA recruit is faced with a difficulty to effectively prepare a lesson in geography on the physical domain. He approaches you for help. To help him, let me take back the problem situation again. Upon graduation from Teachers Training College, you are posted to teach at CS Newtown, Bavman. A colleague who is a PTA recruit is faced with the difficulty to effectively prepare a lesson in geography on the physical domain, and he approaches you for help. To help him, A. Propose 2 possible teaching aids for the lesson. A. Propose 2 possible teaching aids for the lesson.
Okay. Ça va, on continue. Bien arrêter là-bas.
Then, the next question is state, that's B, state a good expected learning outcome for this lesson. Sorry, we have not simulated the lesson title. The lesson title here is Effects of the Rotation of the Earth. The lesson title that your colleague has to teach is Effects of the Rotation of the Earth. Effects of the rotation of the Earth. So I will retake. I ask A. Propose 2 possible teaching aids for this lesson. Propose 2 possible teaching aids for this lesson. Title: Effects of the Rotation of the Earth. What possible teaching aids will you use? B. State the good expected learning outcome for the lesson. State a good expected learning outcome for the lesson. C. Propose the teachers and learning activities at the level of the discovery. Propose the teachers or facilitators activities and learner activities at the discovery stage. Finally, D. Propose a problem situation for this lesson, or state a problem situation for this lesson. Now, before we go to the end of this lesson, I would love us to take home an assignment in which we will prepare in groups, not in groups because of the prevailing condition in our country. We know that we are going through challenges which we are not really advised to work in groups, but we can work independently and in cooperation and collaboration with the teacher. So you know, you always contact the teacher through his contact that will be given later. And you have, the assignment goes thus: prepare a lesson plan on the physical domain of geography, titled The Climatic Zones of Cameroon. Take down the assignment. Prepare a lesson plan on the physical domain of geography, titled The Climatic Zones of Cameroon. Title of the lesson: The Climatic Zones of Cameroon. Now, the assignment will be submitted individually through. Okay, we have come to the end of our lesson. Thanks to your keen attention, your participation, and your responses. So, we'll see you next time. So, you will take the assignment seriously, the assignment that you do seriously, I do ask, we have concluded. So you will work the assignment and submit to me through my email. See you next time. Thanks.